Yes. Um, yeah. So, good evening, sir. Namaste again. I welcome you today to the session where, and I'm very, first of all, I thank MK Bhandari, sir, who has been the founding member of Galter and who has encouraged me to for the session today. I welcome you, sir, to the interview session with to the interview session of where we are looking into a series of interviews where we have launched the concept of in conversation with, and this interactive interview uh, about the future of fintech and neo banking with Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar, sir, Honorable Member Galter, Visionary Chairman, EST Global, Fab, Esta GRX, Raha, Espatec, and Visionary Director of and initial investor of International Partnerships at Branch X. Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar has been the chairman and CEO of EST Global, which is an enterprise based in Boston, Cambridge, MIT ecosystem, Cambridge Innovation Center, USA. Dr. Sindhu has worked in his career to global leadership in transforming the financial ecosystem through digital revolution, fintech revolution, and financial inclusion. He believes that all lives have reverential value, and those providing for the growth of such lives will impact the functionality of enterprises in this endeavor. Financial inclusion is the key and sustenance and sustainability in any venture. It is his vision that sets the streamlining and augmenting the socio-economic enterprise to enable the viability and profitability to the shareholders and stakeholders in the value chain. EST Global INC is an impact platform, and so it does not have pure business or pure centric model philosophy. This initiative by our esteemed guest today is the mission that he is exceptionally motivated to grow in the business and definitely keeping the business ethics on point. He is leading an initiative that will impact most of the world's population in the rural and farming sector, with an initial beginning in India, where two-thirds of India's population needs intervention. EST Group comprises of several enterprises like EST Growmore in Uruguay, Canada, FinTech EST in Peru, Branch X in India, EST FinTech and World Trading League in Singapore, and EST Digital Africa to the name. I'm extremely sorry, sir. I just got a blockchain, metaverse, human rights, and other governance challenges. I request Professor Bhandari, sir, to kindly take forward the question answer session. Sir, please.
Thank you, Lipsa, for introducing our esteemed guest. In fact, if I may say, he is one of our team member as esteemed honorable member of the Galter. And it was my pleasure to meet him in person just 3 days back at Hyderabad CII IT conclave, where we both participated, and he was one of the distinguished panel expert. Prof. Sindhu Bhaskar, you have already introduced, so I need not to say much about his persona. He is relentlessly working for fintech solutions across the world, and currently he is visiting India and is in process of setting up neobanks in association with leading private banks of India. So he will tell about that during our discussion. So coming to our In Conversation Series 2, Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar, I once again welcome you. And my first response and question to you is that globally, the fintech is emerging as fastest growing fintech solution industry because AI, blockchain, Web3, these are the technologies which have facilitated the fintech solutions. And the COVID phase of almost 2 years has further exacerbated the fintech industry, because during that time, e-commerce, e-payments, digital payments, they all were gaining a lot of support. E-learning and all these things were going on. And Indian banks and Indian banking and financial sector has also taken a great leap, as you know it very well. So, as per estimate of the Boston Consulting Group I was referring, uh, in 2023, the fintech industry annual revenue is expected to be 305.7 billion US dollar. You know it better. And it is estimated to reach 1.5 trillion US dollar. So that indicates that there is a tremendous growth opportunities in this fintech sector. So my question to you is that how do you see the global opportunities in fintech industry, and especially where the place of India is visible in coming, say, next 5 years, Joel?
Well, thank you very much, Professor Bhandari, and thank you, Lipsa, for introducing me and setting up this interview in conversation with. And once again, Professor Bhandari, you have been so kind to honor me with this, my presence in the very second version of your in conversation with. However, the question is very, very relevant as of today, and everywhere that we are seeing that there is fantastic growth of fintech everywhere. Now, if we call it fintech all the time, we are also shortening the dimension of the technological expansion that is happening globally. So, as a matter of fact, as we say, fintech is embedded finance. So, we are now talking of embedded finance, and that is why everything becomes fintech. Otherwise, this finance is available in all possible technologies, and every technology is taking assistance of finance. So, that is why fintech is having such a huge expansion in every field, and that figures are already given by you, so I don't have to give all those figures once again. But see, if you compare and contrast the situations from earlier times, what was happening, every reform, every improvement was uh, dependent on the government, law of government of the land. So it was everything government centric maneuverings in the society. But after the fall, or say the collapse of global economy with 2008, there has been a shift and focus towards decentralization. Now, decentralization, I don't mean that there should be no government. What I'm trying to say here, that the government-centric model became public-centric model. So everyone became contributors to ideas. And that is why we have so many ideas and such great ideas, and we never had this activism of general public, general masses in technological expansion. Everything was government controlled. And this is the reason why technology is marching at such a pace and speed. And you see any sort of innovation, there is a small group, small team of people trying to work, create that project platform, and then scale it up from there. So that is the beauty that we have now, so many breeding grounds and breeding corners for all these technological innovations and expansions. And that is what is the net result of this evolutionary tendency of development, because it is not a straight line development or say zigzag development. It is evolution. Whatever we have been learning throughout all these years, we are now projecting it and we are now using it in a very, very aggressive manner. So I think that is the reason why fintech is growing like that. And moreover, when we talk of Web3 and all that, we talk of creators economy. So Web3 is basically creators economy. So when you talk of creators economy and we are moving towards Web3, the economy has to expand. There is no other way.
Thank you, Dr. Bhaskar, for briefly but very succinctly explaining about the fintech and its opportunities. You have mentioned about the creators economy, which is going to be promoted via Web3 and other tech innovations. You have rightly said that the role of government, any government for that matter, should be not controller, but facilitator or regulator, so that the correct practices, the valid practices should be adopted. Fair dealing should be promoted. And to that extent, we need the governmental regulations and facilitation of the business, commerce, trade, anything. I agree with you. You have mentioned about embedded finance. May I request you to kindly briefly explain, because for our readers, you and me know what is embedded finance, but this conversation is seen by thousands of the people across the world when we release it on our website and on LinkedIn. Uh, so what is embedded finance and what is future of India in this sector? I want to learn from you, please.
So basically, embedded finance, when we talk of this concept, earlier we never tried to think of economy as a very constructive model for all the developments. Yes, the Marxist model was there that everything was dependent on economy. But this uh, is a different type of economic consideration which we are looking at, in which it is matching in exact manner with the technology. And that is why we say when technology plus economy or say finance are moving together, that creates the situation of embedded finance. So that is how it is embedded in bed with technology and moving together. So whatever you do, like I will give you a practical example. Like we have one agri-tech platform. In that, of course, everyone will talk of agri-tech because it is agriculture-based platform. But we are giving it a new dimension, a new connotation by adding all the payment gateways and providing a value-based idea, value-based connotation to all those agricultural activities. So that is how everything is getting a twist and turn, because with embedded finance, you have to return, you have to create the return to the creator. That whatever is being created, its value goes back. And when you are having more and more numbers, you are creating more and more values of that economy. And that is what is considered the real growth in real terms nowadays. So that is how I will describe embedded finance.
Okay, thank you. Taking it forward, uh, and in fact, an extension of my previous question, uh, I would like to know, because you are here and you are working globally in taking fintech to the next level, and you are planning, as you mentioned during our meetings, that you are here to set up some neo banks. So I would like to know what is the future of fintech and especially the concept of neo banks for the world and specifically for India, because you are uh, working to set up such neo banks in India also.
Yeah, see, neobank is nothing great. It is only the face or the extension for the banks which are not having their branches in those remote areas. Earlier, what you must have heard about the rural banks and all that. So, in rural banks, the bank used to have a branch there, but it was very, very like eh, with 100 villages, there used to be one branch or something. So everyone cannot have that facility. Now, with Neobank, it is especially a digital uh, face of the bank, existing bank, which is operating in those areas. So what happens? You don't have to go outside of that for any new license. You are using the same license of the established bank to work as their banking face. And so that is first the definition of the neobank. Now, when you are connected to the license holder bank and you are working in those areas digitally, it means you are creating a digital environment for them. And those who are using it, they have to have a phone based system, mobile based system, smartphone based system, where they get connected to this facility. Now, when you are connected to this facility, you can access all the services of any bank. So you can deposit your money, you can withdraw your money, you can do number of transactions that you have. So this is how neobank develops and neobank works. Now, there are different models. Some keep the neobank purely digital, that there is no office, everything is app based. The second variation of neobank is some people try to create small office so that those areas where they have to operate in those rural areas or hinterland, there that whatever you see, you believe, you trust that. So that gives a trust factor. And in technology, you must have the trust factor. So with that local office, you create that trust factor. Then what happens? You are also creating an agent model. So people of those areas, they are also connected in your activity, like facilitation of accounts, making even they can act as payment masters or collection masters for the digital entity. So what happens? You are virtually creating that old age system of commune system for banking and making the person or the group responsible for all those things. So with that, what is there that you are creating trust, number one. You are creating responsibility in the group that they should act and they should bank responsibly. And you, with your agent model, you are assuring that there is going to be the service at the fastest pace. So there will not be time lag or lead. People will not have to go to places, move around, look for any office to have their banking facilities. Everything will be available on their app. Through their app, agents are connected, which will provide all the facilities that they need. So this is how NeoBank creates a revolutionary, uh, I should say, outlook to the rural setup or remote areas where brick and mortar offices of a bank is not available. And neobank is uh, an adjunct of the main bank because it is using their license. So all the deposits and everything is controlled by the bank itself, which is giving the facility to work on the basis of their license. So people's money is also safe. It cannot be the case of fly-by-night operator because whatever money they put in deposit, it remains. Say Bank ABC. So account of the new bank will be with bank ABC. So whatever money is put by the customer, it will go to the account maintained with ABC. So that is the security of your deposit also. So from all different sides, you are creating a security level, a transparency level, a responsibility level by creating a society, a commune system for all your operators, and a very transparent model which is easily available to you and which can listen to you and solve your issues and problems.
Yes, you have rightly said, Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar, that trust, security, transparency are the critical factors, uh,
Exactly.
especially especially when it is the dealing with money. Uh, we have seen in respect of cryptocurrencies, lot of breaches, lot of security violations, frauds, and so many things. We are not going to discuss those issues here. Uh, so what I understand, and please correct me, that neo banking is like a digital face of the physical banking. Is it correct? Or is a digital version of the physical bank, uh, more or less, with more technicalities. I am not going into technicalities, but for a common man, if we can say that neo bank, say for example, X bank has its neo bank in operation, so the all safety features of X bank will be available in neo banking. Is it correct? Okay.
Yes, but
Yes.
it cannot do everything like a normal bank because they don't have the lending license. They
Okay.
don't have the independent license, so it will be restricted to certain things. But as we were talking about embedded finance earlier, and you had asked me about embedded finance,
Yeah.
here what is happening? So in this era of digitization, banks, software companies, even corporate houses, they are coming together to create the payment gateways, to create the financial gateways. And that is why we call it banking as a service. So, banking as a service combines with software as a service, which are the developers, and that creates payment as a service. So, that payment as a service is the result of your embedded finance. And the carriers of this concept is your neobank. So, they remain attached to the main bank, do certain restrictive actions like your uh, uh, opening of accounts, receiving deposits, making payments, prepaid cards, but they cannot do anything which can create a liability for the parent bank.
Good. Correct.
That
Okay.
is why even card system is there, but it is prepaid. Whatever money you have put in, you can just take out that, nothing else.
Okay.
And whatever earning commissions is made by these against these financial transactions by the neobank is split also with the parent bank. So what happens for parent bank? They get their face in those areas where they don't have to maintain a physical office. They also start earning something, more and more transactions. They will have some earning. So that is an additional income for them. And all the compliance models, which is prescribed by the central bank of the land and which the license holder bank follows, the same compliance model has to be followed by the neobank. So everything is in tandem and everything is matching to each other, which is which is satisfying the license requirement.
So you mean to say,
That is why.
okay. So you mean to say it is a win-win situation for the customers or stakeholders and the customers or the bank and the customers who have now better reach through digital mode uh, toward the banking services.
Yes, of course. That is
Yeah,
what the whole purpose was. Like,
yeah,
I will give you another concrete example. when banks were having their rural branches in India, and farmers and others had to get subsidies from government. Out of 100 bucks, hardly 50 bucks were given to them. Intermediaries were there, other people were there. So they used to lose money in between. There were a lot of leakage points. But when Jandhan Yojana came, what happened? Everyone started getting the bank account, and subsidy money was directly transferred to those bank accounts. So there was no intermediary tier. It became direct. It gained bank like farmers, if they had to get 100 bucks, they were getting 100 bucks. After that,
Correct.
they can
Correct.
decide how much to allow it to be leaked out. I will not add any term to it. They can only allow it to be leaked out, else
Yes, yes.
everything remains with them. That was one issue. But with those smartphone proliferation, you are creating personal wallets. So when now we are talking of digital rupee, e-rupee, which is going to happen, what will happen? Immediately they will get digital rupee in their wallet, and they will have absolute control. So it
Yes.
will further expand. That is why fintech is always expanding, going places
Yes.
to places.
Sure, sure. Thank you, Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar. I think Lipsa also has a question to you. Since we have a short of time, so Lipsa, you can ask a short question
Yes,
seeking
sir.
response of Dr. Bhaskar.
Thank
Please,
you so much.
over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, I have a question. Do you think that we need to have an effective way to educate the masses for adoption of these modern tools and technologies in fintech spaces?
Yeah, there are two aspects of your question. What I will say, you have to have your self motivation and self determination to learn a thing. That is very important. Second thing is that yes, you have to teach people to adopt and accept technology, because there are cultural blocks which does not allow you to receive all those technology, even if it is provided to you. So there should be people who should do it. As a matter of fact, in our company, we have a platform called FinTech and Blockchain Association. So we keep moving, moving with our technology and new tech ideas to all these areas, and trying to educate those students with the new technology so that they can become the carriers for the new technology, which can be accepted in those areas. And that is how, when there is more acceptability and adaptability of the new technology, services can be faster and better and more effective for everyone.
Thank you
Thank
so much,
you,
sir.
Dr. Sindhu.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So I think there are many more issues. Uh, we will take
Yes.
up those issues maybe in next round of interviews sometime again.
Sure, sure, sure.
Particularly issues regarding the major challenges and roadblocks in adoption of fintech tools and techniques, and legal and ethical issues, because as of now we have very limited legal framework. RBI in India is a regulatory body for banking operations and financial sector. There are other bodies also. So then we need to have a strong ethical way of working so that people trust and transparency remains intact. Uh, so we will definitely deal with those issues in our next round of in conversation series, maybe
Sure,
sometime later.
sure.
So I must thank
Definitely.
Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar. And one aspect which I would like to mention here for our viewers and listeners, that normally it is believed that technology is a dry subject. But Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar is a great poet, a great humanist. I have had the taste of some of his literary creations he has been sharing with me. So he has a very, I would say, humanitarian aspect of the a technology man. That's a great, and I congratulate you, Dr. Sindhu Bhaskar, for keeping that uh, tenderness and keeping that emotional fire in you. Uh, I thank you once again for sparing time and joining us for this In Conversation series of the Galter Series 2. And definitely we look forward. Now you are part of Galter, so we look forward to work closely in any domain of technology in which you are working, and we will continue to have our dialogue. And I must also thank Lipsa Das for acting as